Chalo. So yes, we were looking basically business analysis with Excel, right? So here, the way we get the Excel in terms of, as you can see on the screen, okay, let me share that screen here. So we are looking for a kind of a bad data given to us. What do you mean by bad data? Specifically the data which is not, really in line with whatever you expected. Like if you want to do something like sales analysis, and you might get the data of procurement or data of regional sales targets or something like that, which is not relevant to whatever the option at hand. And sometimes you get a bad data like this, right? So this bad data is basically bad data in terms of you can't extract what the correct data is. Okay, so most of the time what we do, we normally let me share that slide as well. We normally go back to a reporting officer and try to understand how we can get the better data, or how we can request for the better data. Sometimes just requesting and just understanding whatever data given to you is not correct is also one of the skill set we required as far as data analysis, right? There are a few pointers, and I'll also share a couple of good links to understand how to basically check out if there's a good data, bad data, and you can do it within the first 15-20 minutes. Okay, so whenever you get a data, your first and foremost observation, or the initial analysis, as you might call it, or as many corporate Americans call it. So initial analysis is about to check out whatever data you got. Is it in line with the thought process, whatever required? Is it in line with the actual data to be researched, to be analyzed as far as your current work at hand? Okay, so if you're trying to do a sales analysis, you need to make sure you have the data, like whatever sales we have acquired within a given region, within a days, month, the time series, and all those things. And slowly, steadily, we all evolve in this, how to check out or how to do the initial analysis progressively. If you're not talking, could you please mute yourself? Yes, if you're not talking, if you could mute yourself, that'd be great. Okay, no problem. So let's try to understand what you mean by a clean data. Okay, you don't always have a control over the format and the type of data. You might import, you might get from an external source. It can be something like a database, something like text file, something like web page. And slowly, steadily, we will basically try to understand the relevance of data. First, initial analysis, you to check for the relevance. Then you need to check for the bad data type of understanding, like in the tips and tricks of the data Excel sheet which I shared with you. It's a good number of Excel data elements are bad. They are not extractable. Well, at the eventually we'll get we extract them. But the efforts you are spending on that initial the data given to you is of utmost important. You are either wasting your time, or you are banging your head on a different tree which is not going to give you any fruit. Okay, I hope you can understand what I'm trying to say here. Before you can analyze the data, often we need to clean it up. So the most important process in our initial analysis is cleaning up the data. And Excel do have many features to help you get the data in precise format that you want. Sometimes the task is straightforward, but there can be times where the task is a bit complex and might take too much time. So you might go to your reporting officer, the data source, whoever given you the data, and ask for a replacement, or tell them, are these challenged with the proprietary data where you got me this data from? So we need to understand, we need to get a clean data. We need to get a really, good data to start good operations. It's like a garbage in, garbage out. What do you mean by garbage in? If you feed the garbage, the output will be garbage. And similarly, this is a typical, thought process given to a manufacturing line. What we are doing, we are manufacturing results out of the data given to us. We are trying to proofread the data in terms of simple English terms, right? And that's how the analysis works. So for that, if the data is bad, there'll be bad results, and so on and so forth. That's why we can ask, or we can basically prepare a statement in terms of how I feel the data is bad. That's also kind of good advantage if we can do that. And for that, we'll learn how to basically result it out if the data is bad, whatever given to you. right? Now there are a couple of ways which are basically shared by Microsoft Excel support team, and I'll share that link with you so that you can go through those. There are around 16-17 pages available given from the Microsoft support team for a bad data, and you need to understand how we clean the couple of options they've given here are you can easily use something like spell checker, so that whatever character output data you got, is it in line or something like that. Then clean out the misspelled words in columns, content comments, special characters or description, etc, etc. Again, this is relevant to the requirement. If the requirement is of getting clean data from the bad data, yes, then it's a kind of really put in some good amount of effort, like the example we got in terms of that trips and trick kind of scenario, right? Yeah, of course we learn, we use our knowledge, but again it's a time consuming thing. And as far as business goes, business wants everything right out of the time, right on that dot time. Okay, so the more you spend effort on bad data is not going to do any good. So what we can do, we can go to the source and tell, hey sir, madam, I believe you give me some corrupted data, bad data, or the data is not relevant to the requirement given to me. And you might tell them in terms of how you guide them in terms of the relevant non-relevance to your requirement and so on and so forth. If you want to remove duplicate rows, you can quickly use something like remove duplicates, like that find and replace, right? And then we have sometimes we might need to go back to the source in terms of getting the right data, as it saves great amount of time and efforts plus confusion also. In data analysis job, this is an additional trick we need to use to request diplomatically for the replacement of the data, replacement of the source data file, data set given to us, to create a format, a table, visually group, and analyze data also, right? I'm going to share a couple of links with you where they are given us a good amount of information on how to clean the data. Now let's take me back to our example, which were we solving. As I told you, this seems to be a bad data pile, but how do you do it? So let's when I did good number of permutation combination, I found that this row, if you extract a date from this row, okay, let's try to extract a date from this row. I'll just select the date as we did, Control C, I paste here, Control V. So this is my date basically, and then I'll say Control E to flash fill. Again, out of 12, there are 5 data which is not it's supposed to be a date, but it's not a date. So out of 12, 5 is like around 45%, right? Which is not good. So I might go to the data source and ask, boss, this data is really not according to what I'm looking for. It has too much bad data, too much manual efforts are needed. So are you okay if I spend around 6 hours in cleaning up that data? If the source says yes, and then you can basically start working on the cleanup data. But if he says no, sorry, let me go back to the database and try to find really good query. And when we learn SQL, you'll find that whatever query you find, right, that's a kind of requesting to a person, give me this. If you can't specify correctly, the database might given you garbage data, and this is how most of the time do happens. So that source might have to run some another SQL query, because most of the data is collected in database. Why? Because database is good, secure entity. It does encryption at both the end, encryption in the sense it try to encrypt, try to secure the communication of data, and we'll learn why in a due course of time. So there we need to make sure whatever data we got is in what they are going to supposed to send me, or they might send me the better data again. Now let's try to resolve our problem. The way we have done it, let's go here and let's categorize this column as a date. How do you do that? Here I'll choose short date. Okay, now see, nothing happened, but here what Excel have understand, I'm trying to extract date here, and that's I told, like these columns, these cells, a column C will have dates. Now whatever is left align is not date, whatever is right align is the date. Now I need to check, is it right with these? When it says 24M3 2022, well, it's a 24th March. Okay, let's try to correct it. So here what I'll do, rather than March, I'll just type 03, or I can just type 3 and press enter. Now that entity is right aligned. So whenever the entity is right aligned, and when I did that, Excel also executed 3 more row to the right side, because Excel understand the middle pattern in terms of 2403. 03 is kind of a month, so it should be less than 12 most of the time. But in some scenario, like the third row, we have the middle pattern more than 12. So it's not a month. So the data input is wrong. And this is how that flash fill, what you call, is normally in a programmatical language. We call it as a pattern matching, program. And this is what the control E does. Now here I need to correct with this. This is also a March month. So rather than 15, I need to, replace it with the 3, and I'll press enter. And then when I do that, there are a couple of reversal here. Okay, why they reverse? Because they say even if there was a December, but it was not matched with the older format. So what I do, I'll do Control Z first, and I'll copy this row as a value. So how do you copy? So equal to, and I'll say I'll copy this thing, control, sorry, come on. Okay, I'll copy this thing, control C, I'll paste it over here. Now these are the value only fields. This is my source and this is my target. Now here, if I replace this thing to the 3 and hyphen, right? Okay, now it's correct because these are a value of date. And then again here also, now these are all separate data field. These are the way pattern fields, these are linked field. Now we have unlinked the fields, or unlinked the columns, basically the cells in a specific column. Now here it says Feb, so I need to just delete the 4 after 2 and I'll press enter. As you can see, the dates are formatted in 3 distinct steps. First, we have assigned a category to the column saying that this is a date. This is my this is a day, and here in the home, whenever you have this number formatting, you can select, or you can select this number of cells, right click, go to the format cell, and here you can select date and which is the pattern you want in. Okay, and this is how you can select the formatting of cell. This is called format cells. Could you see this? Hello, could you see this
Yes.
format cell? Yeah, sure.
Yes.
So these are the 3 steps for cooking this data. Okay, pardon me for that. Now to find the day. Now this is why I want to show you the data which is given to you is bad, because let's try to find out the exact day of week, whatever the date shows us. So when I say equal to, I'll use the function called text, which basically give me a support of converting a number to a text. So what I do, I want to assign a value to it. So this is a D1, and then I'll say comma, and I'll say format. So what I format, I want day of the week, which is basically DDD. You can put it in caps, you can put it in small, and I'll press enter. So this was a Thursday, but if you look at the date, it was given as a Monday. So which is also wrong data. So we need to check out, are we doing right? And how do I check it? Whoever given you the data, you can go back to them and say, boss, you can write a clear cut mail as well, right? See, this is how I have extracted for 12 row. It took me 20 minutes. And even after 20 minutes, the data which I got is not really right per se. See, if you look at the other also, this is a Wednesday. Well, it's not mentioned. This is Sunday rather than the Tuesday. This is they have not mentioned. This is a Friday. Well, this is correct. This is a Wednesday actually, and they will mention Tuesday. So this data is basically the wrong data which is given to you, or you are processing the wrong way. And that's how we need to go back to the source and tell them, boss, see, this is a wrong. Whatever I am doing is not exactly an efficient way to do a data analysis. And for that, we need to do some practice. We need to run some, cleaning thought process, right? And that's what we are discussing today. Okay, does that make sense to you?
Excuse me, Ravindraji.
Yeah, please go.
The date is completely wrong. If you see in row 7, the date is 9th August 2020. And here the date is 09/12/2020.
And
No, ma'am.
second row
Okay,
also.
Same
okay then.
happened down here
I'll tell you.
too.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Oh
Yes,
yeah.
second one also.
In India, and this Excel is as per the Indian date. So please read it as a 3/20/22. You're right. Means as an American. Okay, let me convert these things.
Even though it is according to Indian standard, it
Yes, ma'am.
should be 9/8/2020. It is 9/12/2020. So it's
Which row you are
December.
talking
According
about,
to
ma'am?
India, so,
Which
row number 7.
7, right? 9th
Uh,
of
Yeah.
2020. Oh yeah.
So
Right.
it's 9/12. It should be 9/8, right? According to even Indian standard, it should be 9/8/2020.
Right.
and
So
So
in
it's
there's a
second
9/12.
row too. Second row
yeah,
too also. It's
Yeah. So it's the date is completely wrong. So
wrong.
that
Right.
is why the day are also wrong.
Right, right. So we might need to replace this thing with the correct thing. That's why normally means see what we did out of 12 we did updates on 5. Now we are doing extra. So this like update is going more than 5 rows, and that's why I am saying the input data was not right, and that's
So
how we
even
need. So that's why we need to go back to the source and say, sir, madam, whoever given that data, he mostly pulling out data from a database, and that's a normal thought process. But if he fires a wrong query, and these things do happen once in a blue moon, very few times you'll get something like this, and then you need to basically specify to him, right, out of 12 rows, out of 1000 row, these many I have worked out, and still there are errors here. Do you think you have given me the correct data, sir, madam? And then they'll say, no, 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 sorry, I believe something gone wrong with my query, or something gone wrong with my retrieval mechanism. See, as a data analysis, we are not a data experts. We are not a data master. We are not a database developers, right? Are you agree with me? And for that, we need to tell them, sir, madam, you need to give me correct data. Otherwise, there will be garbage in and garbage out. I couldn't infer the data if you give me wrong data. If I tell you my name is Parag Pandey, how can you understand if it's right or wrong? Well, you need to understand, you need to find some reference there, right? And that's how we need to find here. We need to first spend some 15-20 minutes, and that's what we normally call as a initial data analysis, where we'll try to understand what is the relevance to our requirement. And this is the thing happens. So it's a part and parcel of life. Yes. And same, the 7th row is okay. Which is the other row you're talking about? Yeah, this is a July, right? So this should be 7.
So it's everywhere actually. In row number
Yes.
3 also it says 15 August 2021, and it is now showing the date as
December,
15 December
right.
2021. So the
Right.
date is
Sir,
not matching at all.
So this can also be done in another way
Uh-huh.
with a function called text split. I have tried it actually.
Okay.
So, but in that case, first I need to remove these days, and then
Uh-huh.
from date it can be extracted again in the different column.
Okay. Can you show that, ma'am?
Yeah.
I'll make you
But,
co-host.
yeah. 1 second. But it will go like that. First,
Uh-huh.
these underscores should get replaced, and then I need to put spaces between these 3 columns, and then text split can be applied. So yeah, I can show that.
But ma'am, okay, you're right here. But see, normally when you want to work on this input data, right, means you are adding some characters to this, which is not the right way. It should work like this. See, data analysis job is easy. What it makes complicated if the input data is not correct. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, ma'am. It should do it like, with a click of mouse. Normally, whatever data, and normally you get a data in terms of hundreds or thousands of row. And if you keep updating the records which you got, right? It's a, I don't know what to call, it's a really, mammoth of work we are talking about, right? You can't go and visit each and every row. The normal data, as we've seen in the, other Excel sheet, let me show you. This is the Excel sheet which we are working, right? Let me, share that with you. And this is the, what I normally call as a good data, or this type of data is normally what we what we get in terms of, I'll say unhide, because I have this is the data. So data should be correct whatever given to you. If in 1 or 2 places you might need to update, that's fine. But if you're updating anything and beyond 10%, that means the input data is not correct. So please remember this figure, 10%. That's a thumb rule in North America and Canadian region. If you get the data, which you need to work on more than 10% of the rows. Like if you have a 1000 or if you have 100 rows, and if you want to really update the source, I'm saying, what do you mean by update the source? The way you got the Excel sheet and you're updating that Excel sheet, like you're talking about the source, we got it here, which is in column B. Well, you can number it sequentially. That's different scenario. But when it comes to actual, data retrieved by you, it should be correct and relevant to the work. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Yes, yeah. If one
We
can
don't
get
need to
back to
spend
that
so much
person and
efforts,
say,
and that's why I was really surprised. See, I got these data from Google itself. Okay, I search Google data formatting exercises. So they give me this really bad data, which is, we shouldn't be used. But okay, it's like I, picked up at random and then we tried to do it. It's simple life. Don't make it complicated. Whenever you do something like more than 10% of the, updates the data, unless you are cleaning the data. There are some, data analysis working on cleaning the data or cleaning the legacy data. These things do happen. Then your job is cleaning. You're not doing any analysis or you're not finding any results out of those data, right? So that's a a way of different job at hand type of scenario, and that's what we need to understand. Does that make sense?
yes, yes, if
Yeah,
one can
but if
get
you
back
want to
to that
showcase,
person and say
you can
this
please show.
data is dirty, like
Right,
this
right.
is bad data and can be replaced, that's fine. But if like here it's just getting done like manually putting changing the months, then for that there is another option to explain. That's what I
Sure.
wanted to
You
know.
can please showcase, means I make you co-host. See, this is a group learning. We learn together. Something I learn, something you learn. And this is the professional way of North American working. In India, mostly there's something like reporting or something like that. In US, the approach is basically the result orientedness of it. So me, my reporting officer, we need to get the work done. And unless and until we can't do it, we are wasting our and everybody else time, right? And that's how we should work out in our sessions as well. Okay, do you want to showcase your how do you work it around these things?
Yes, sir, I can showcase, but I can share it in the steps in the group also if you want to move further, and
Yes,
it
yes,
will not be
definitely.
waste of time for others also if you.
No, ma'am. See, there's no waste of time. See, as an artist, some can paint a really great picture, and we should appreciate that. Like if you found a workaround which is quick enough, efficient enough, we might require such scenario in our day-to-day office, day-to-day work as well. Let me tell you a simple example. We were, having challenges in our Python machine learning programming. Machine learning also we use something like pattern matching. It based on something like event and response kind of scenario. You do it programmatically, of course. So if user click a button, it should take while considering the input pattern, it should take the user to another page, and this is how the machine learning was working. But sometime user used to enter some special character, and the pattern matching here used to go haywire, and so there was a problem. And believe me, there was a really fresh developer who just started last batch, can suggest a great workaround. And this is how it happens. Well, we are not a programmer, but we are applying our really great artistic skill to execute manual data analysis, and that's what we should proud of. So there's nothing wrong in it, but I'll you have your freedom. If you want to don't showcase, we can go ahead. Okay.
No, I can share. Yeah.
Yes, sure, ma'am. Please go ahead then. It gives a bit of relief to my throat also. I don't know what happened to my throat. Something gone wrong, I believe.
Okay.
And please don't be a shy, right? We are learning. We are learning in a step-by-step way.
So should I share my screen?
Yes, ma'am. Please. Yes, ma'am. Oh, you use function called weekday. That's great.
So,
Yeah.
so this is, I'll just read this first.
Please, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So by using find and replace, I've replaced those special characters, and I've removed those days of the week also.
Sure.
So now here I can apply. In text split function, so first one is the text from which we want to extract the values.
Right.
So here I'll choose this one. And the second is column delimiter by whatever it can be space or any other special character by which you want to separate the columns.
Perfect.
So go like this. There's one space here. This. Just a second.
They might need one more. No, that's optional though. What all you can see in the rectangle brace, they are optionals. Something gone wrong. Explains.
So yeah. So it goes like this. And there's one more thing. If I want to copy this function to the other, like on function, flash will not work. So if I want to copy this function to split to the other rows, it
You
can
can
be
pull
done like
the
this.
rectangular. Yeah, you can pull that. Yes. Yes. Wow, this is really good. But again,
After this, if I want to extract day of the week, I can use the weekday function in a separate column. Yeah,
okay, okay.
Yeah,
Weekday, right?
okay, it gives a number like Thursday for 5 for Thursday.
Right, right. So you need to convert that. No problem, no problem. I think everybody got an idea. This is really great, ma'am. Means this is above and beyond what we have discussed. So yes, finding out the right function is how this is important, right? Did everybody got that? So ma'am used two functions. Okay, weekdays, and other is what you can say row split, right? No, split.
Text split.
Huh?
Text split for the first one.
Yes, yes. And this is how we learn basically. And this is how we basically can improve. And this is the basic artistic nature of data analysis. What the right function we can use at a given time. Okay. So please note down these functions, weekdays and text split and the options. Again, how do you see the help? Could you, ma'am, could you pull out the help on text split, please? Huh? Take it to the text split, the cursor to the text split and press F1, function key 1. You might need to press 2 keys if you are using laptop. No, function key F1. F1 is for that.
Okay.
Yes, the help is coming. For me, I don't know why I need to reinstall my Excel or something. Yes, so text tip function. Pardon me. So this way, this is how the text split works. The syntax is basically, this is the programming part of the Excel, and we normally call it macro programming. Okay, so text split, first is the source text. You need to select a column, and then there's a delimiter. So madam have chosen space as a delimiter. What do you mean by delimiter? Wherever you want to split the text, that a character occurrence. This delimiter is a character here. So it can be comma, space, dollar sign, hyphen, and each and everything basically, right? Try it out on your own so you'll understand this function much better. Then you have ignore if empty. What do you mean by empty? Empty means there is no character. See, space and empty is different. Okay. Now let me, can I take the control, ma'am?
Yeah.
So I'll share my screen here. And let me start a Google window where I'll basically tell you what is the difference between space and delimiter. Okay, so SPACE space and EMPTY DIFFERANCE difference. Let's try to understand space and empty difference. Difference between empty string means there is nothing, blank, and a white space. They call it white space. The length of white space is 1 and the empty string is 0. And that's how it differs. Now Stack Overflow is one of the best sites for the programmers. Here you can understand how you can basically learn the programming, and these are for the programming reference. Okay, this is what they have given. And whenever you need to remove any number of white spaces before starting and ending your string. Now when you say string is a variable, computer understands as an name is a string, Ravindra is a string, or George III is also a name, because these type of name given in some specific region. So number is a part and parcel of the name, and there should be any space, or if there is any space, then we need to specify it correctly. That's not the wrong name. John space 3 or King Edward III. These are the names of those persons, and there could be space or there could be empty thing. And that's how our thought processes differs. And there's a site called Quora also. Quora is a generic philosophical site where you get different answers to a question. Usually blank space refer to one or more spaces or a tab character and does not span lines. White space refer to non-printing character including space and tab. Okay, and this way there are different answer given by different persons, and that's how we will learn basically. Okay, again the space ASCII character is, okay, let me talk about ASCII character. ASCII. Oh, sorry, not that one. That's a debugging thing which I have. ASCII, ASCII characters. Now you'll get a different codes for ASCII. This is how your computer and keyboard communicates. Okay, so here white space is nothing in the ASCII table, but the space is character. This is the space characters hash 0x20. This is what we call hex in scenario. Hex programming or hex communication happens between keyboard and your computer processor. Okay, don't get into details. I don't want to confuse you, but you should understand for computer, space and the blank space is a different scenario. Okay, chalo. Let me come back to our previous exercise we were doing. This is the second hands-on exercise we were doing. We started in last to last class, I believe, right? So here we are comparing something like transform movie database and movie sales, right? Here, so we are talking about movie names, we are talking about the genre, we are talking about the sale happened in July 22, July 21, August 21, and so on and so forth. This can be a kind of sales figure for a given video rental store or a even movie distributor as well. This looks like more of a movie distributor because the dollar figures are quite higher end. Okay, now let's try and go ahead in terms of understanding how we can do better. So here we have found average, we have found minimum and maximum. Let's say you need to write a report saying any and every movie above and beyond certain figure should be a good movie. Any and all movies which are less than a certain figure is bad movie or not doing good business. So how do you understand from this Excel sheet, or how do you categorize from this Excel sheet? Okay, so let's before that, let's try to understand how can you conditionally format this thing. See, I told you to add some data analytical add-ons to your Excel, right? In I think third or fourth session, and there we've seen like we can do a conditional formatting to a given column. Okay, let's try that first, and then we'll check out how to process for a given what you can say, segregate the rows as for the difference between a given number, rather calibrate the row as for the given standard. Okay, first start with trying to understand how you can format this thing as per the colors in terms of their values. So I'll select a column from here to here. Okay, I have not selected total, I have removed that row here. So there are 17 rows which I have selected. Could you see on my Excel sheet here? I have selected total. So this is the total business income for these 6 odd months, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a conditional formatting and click on conditional formatting. So conditional formatting is basically a facility given by Excel to make sure I could basically format it visually. And yes, visual representation is of much importance in data analytical day-to-day life. Easily spot trends and patterns in your data using bar, colors, icons, blah, blah, blah to visually highlight important value. So I'll click here, and as you can see, there are so many options available. I can have highlight cell rules, I can have top to bottom rules, date bars, color scales, icon set, and you can have your own rule in terms of programming also. So let not complicate matter. We'll learn this eventually in our next to next session. First go on with a color scale, and I want you to understand, I want to you to try all these 12 different options available. Take it as a homework. I'll show you a couple of them. Okay, I'll click on the first one. Now could you see the column have turned into red or green? Now let's try to understand what these does. Green and yellow and red color scale. So it basically scales the background into 3 different gradations. This is what they call gradation in North America. Apply a color gradient to a range of cells. The color indicates where each cell value falls within that range. Now if I click and remove here, could you see all these what you can say color values have been colored. So it ranged from a dark green to the light yellow, dark red. Now as we have already sorted out, that's why this thing is basically sequential. If I remove this sorting, the filter which we have applied last time, and I'll say select all, and I don't want any filter, I'll say it's not I just sorted out. I want to remove sorting, so I'll say largest to smallest or smallest to largest. So smallest to largest. Okay, and that way or I can just delete that column. Basically, let me delete that column. Okay, so this is how the overall data looks like. So this is the most profit making movie called Transformer. The next one is Finding Nemo, and so on and so forth. And the least movie is basically Spider-Man. Oh man, Spider-Man is an old movie. Spider-Man 3 is a new movie, and so on and so forth. So old Spider-Man movie have just make me $8,722, and same as a Star Wars 3. And this way I can clearly understand which are the top 4 performer and the bottom performer. If I want to share these details in terms of colorful patterns, I can clearly embed these cells with the background in my Microsoft presentation slide as well. So I'll copy. I have copied this thing. I have opened come on, what are these different things open? Give me a minute, please. Okay, it shows one for this thing, right? So I'll say stop share. I'll start a new presentation, PowerPoint. Sorry, let me share this thing with you. Where is Zoom? Share screen. I'm sharing this new screen where I'm trying to start a new blank presentation. This is first is a title side. So I'll say new slide, which is a commonly, if you can see, there's a difference of layout. This is basically a different layout. This is different layout. This is a title slide where you normally put a title, and here this is a different layout. I'll say right click here and I'll say paste special with the source formatting, and this is how I can share with my superiors. I can share some colorful data with the audience so they can understand this thing better. Does that make sense to you? Could you try this
Yes.
on your own? Go ahead,
I have a question.
Go ahead, please.
Is there any other way, to get data from Excel to here, or like this copy paste is the only way?
Copy paste is the simplest, ma'am. Then there are, even if you right click here, right, you are getting so many options of pasting. This is just the numbers with the formatting. Then you can embed in the sense it's still linked, but normally for security reason most of the organizations don't let you embed or link to the source. So in case if you change the source, the data will change here. So these are the different way, and paste it as a picture also. And then this is the last option, keep the text only, no formatting at all, something like. So these are the 5 different paste options available. Now you can do it programmatically. Even Microsoft PowerPoint let you use programming. So you can insert as an object, you can insert as a media like audio files and all. You can insert as an object. Where is object insertion? Shape, icons, chart, smart chart, media. No, that's for this thing. So these are all options of inserting in PowerPoint from different software. So you can have an add-in also. So you can add in terms of, you can add in from a link also in a website, and so on and so forth. Learning Microsoft PowerPoint is also another great way to start. After our session, I'll share some good video of how to use PowerPoint for the maximum efficiency, how you can include media in terms of movies, pictures, animations, and so on and so forth also. And there are good number of animation movies available on the net which can basically embed with these type of presentations, so that it looks really live, right? Again, depending upon your professional company's functions. If you're in a media, then this sounds much better. But if you are in a kind of IT company or something like that, then they want just the clear understanding of how you're representing your data, rather than having media, audio, video, and all those things. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, thank you.
No problem. So let me take back to our data and let's try to understand VLOOKUP. VLOOKUP is really complicated functionality. Okay, let me hide these columns again, because this should be visible to you. Now there are a couple of sequential steps which we need, how to hide, right? So I'm hiding column. I have selected column. I have told you C, D, E, C to I. I right click this thing. I'll say hide column. So the columns are hidden. They are still there. Okay. Now let's try to understand how do you perform VLOOKUP. There are VLOOKUPs and there are a horizontal lookup. VLOOKUP is like, okay, let me type that for you. V as in V, LOOK, look up. This is the functionality we are talking about. Again, we can take a help of this functionality, but let's try it out. Now, where we use VLOOKUP is basically kind of using the Excel as a relational database. What is a relational database? We are relating to the data entity. We are relating to a data entity for a given corresponding records. Okay. Now, what do you mean by corresponding records? Okay. Let me, add a column. There's no need, but I want to add a column in terms of, building a kind of sequential serial number so that we can refer better rather than character. We'll do it both the way. Please don't worry. Okay. Now this is one of the most complicated functionality of advanced Excel we are learning. And then there's something called pivot chart as well. So what I did, I've just, given a number to these movie database, right? Now let's try to use movie data. Let's try to use this VLOOKUP functionality. Okay, now this is used for a relational reference. What do you mean by relational reference? You're talking about VLOOKUP or vertical lookup is for the vertically categorized entity. So there's a record. Let's say talk about this Spark 2 movie. In Spark 2 movie, genre is adventure and total revenue earned was 8,877. The minimum it's earned in any month is this much. The overall maximum earned is this much. Okay, so there's hardly any difference here. Okay, so let's try to understand how we can utilize whenever I have a movie name, how I can find the genre, how I can find the total, and this is mostly used in other sheet. But let's first try with the current sheet only. So here I'll say equal to VLOOKUP, okay, looks value in leftmost column of a tab, and I'll say bracket start. The options available here are lookup value, table, array, column, index, number, and the range lookup. Okay, let's start with I want to find let's say Independence Day total earning, or let's say a genre. Okay, so I'll say 18, and then I want to 18 comma sorry B18 comma, and then I have to give a I want to find genre. So genre is in the third column, so it's a 3. And if I want exact match, then I might say 0, or if I want approximate match, I can say 1. Okay, now if I press enter, okay, I forgot a step here. Now what's the step I forgot? When you say v lookup, normally you need to lookup VLOOKUP bracket start, lookup value, this one, let's say Batman Forever. Another additional value, I want to freeze this data set, a data frame. So for that, I'll select no, not that. I want to have this thing in Batman Forever. So B15 comma. Now I want to froze the complete data set here in terms of the references shouldn't be changed. So I'll select this one and I'll press F4 as an function key 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And this way, if you can see, the data elements here have converted themselves to a dollar value, and this dollar value is dollar in the sense the symbol got inserted wherever there's a column name, whereas there's a reference to a cell given. So this is a kind of Excel way of understanding the reference in terms of the actual frame, and that's why you need to freeze the frame. So F4 freezes the frame for Excel. I'll say comma and I'll say 0 and I'll say complete the thing and I'll press enter. Why is not coming up?
So you didn't write the column number 3.
Oh, sorry, yes, I forgot to. So it's a 3 and there's a comma and enter. Again it's a should work. Batman should give me a drama. Need to press 1 here. No. Okay, let me find out what the error was. Value not available. No, it's not working. So give me a minute, please. Equal to VLOOK, VLOOKUP, and I have to go for, let's say, Spider-Man, comma, and I have to freeze the column in terms of, let's say, these two, and I'll press Shift F4, comma, 3, comma, 0. 3 is the column and 0 is my exact this thing, right? Again, same thing. What's the problem? Okay, let me try to write in caps. V lookup VL look up this thing. I'm selecting this thing, comma. Now I have to freeze this thing, right? So let me freeze this thing, man. F4, comma 3, comma 0. Yes. What the heck? Yeah. I've taken this, right? I've taken A to C. So C is my, okay, C is my 2, right? Okay, let me try it that way. If I delete this thing, if I select the complete one, and I'll say shift F4, and then 3 and this thing. Still not working, I don't know why. Okay, let's try with this. Okay, give me a minute. Let me try with the simple. Okay, simple this thing. So equal to V and double okay, look up. Let's say find Nemo, comma, to select complete of these things. I'll say shift F4, comma 2, comma 0, and bracket bracket complete. Now it's working here. I don't know why. Let me try here again. Let me remove this thing. I don't know why it's fiddling with the thing also. Now it came, I believe. Okay, that serial number was creating some ruckus. Okay, no problem. Let me try here again. Okay, so here equal to, and I'll say VLOOK lookup. I'll say this thing. I'll select, let's say, Pirates of the Caribbean. This thing. I select the complete, come on, complete data set function F4, F4, comma 2, comma 0, and enter. Yeah, now it's working. So VLOOKUP, we've started with A12. A12 is A, and 12, I'm talking about Pirates of Caribbean. And I frozen the column, and then in second row, first, second row, and 0. If I say 3 here, it should give me the dollar value. Pirates of the Caribbean. No, it's not giving me the correct 5, 7. No, it's giving me this value. So 3 is 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let me try with 2. 2 is action. I don't know why it's not giving this column. I might need to remove the conditional formatting. So I'll just, come on. Fill, no color. And I should say okay here. I don't know why not. So let's delete this column altogether, and let's try it out again. Instead of 2, I'll say 4, and I'll say enter. 5186, is that the right one? I'm talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. Again, that's a wrong. 5861. No, that's not the Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Rather than 12, let's try with how much? 16. And rather than 4, I'll have 2 here. Okay, I have selected only 2 froze. That's why I think it's taking the challenges here. So again, let me try with the all 4 cell records. VLOOK lookup, and then I'll say I want to go with the shrek 2, comma, I want to select the complete data set here, and I'll say function F4. I'm using a laptop. I want to do with the second column, and I want an exact match. It's working adventure. And if I want to go with the, instead of 2, if I put 3, 1 2 1271, where this guy is getting 1271, 1271. There's no figure 1271 here. So it's work for string perfectly fine, but for numbers it's giving me challenge. Okay, let's try with no the relational database way. So this is my one sheet, and this is my another sheet. Delete. Now, as Harini ma'am have asked the question, we can do VLOOKUP in two reference sheet. Okay, let's say here I want to find out who is the distributor for that movie. So like Spider-Man, we have Sony Picture. Let's try to find out in over this one. So how do I do it? I'll do equal to, let's do it here. I'll do equal to VLOOKUP, lookup bracket complete. I'm choosing Spider-Man. I'm choosing comma. I'm choosing now I want to select the other sheet, right? So I'll go here. I'll select again just the data, not the headers, and I have function F4 again, right? I'll come back to this sheet, and see it have taken the other sheet called part 1 A2 reference. I'll say comma. It's not taken this thing. So I'll say second column, and I'll say 0, and I'll say this thing. Okay, no, it's not coming up correctly. It's not taken the VLOOKUP. So let me so rather than part 1, this one, I'll delete this thing, and I'll go here part 2. What the heck? And I'll select the part 2. Selected this thing. I'll say function F4. No. Function F4, right? And I'll 2 and 1, right? And I'll come back here, and I'll press. Oh, come on. Let me do this thing again. I'll do function F4. Okay, I'll press enter. Okay, Sony Pictures. So I'm getting distributor from the other sheet, and I've just check out now. We can verify these things. For Men in Black, we have Sony Pictures. Can I check it from my second this thing? For what was the thing we took again? Men in Black, right? So where is Men in Black? Men in Black, Sony Pictures. And this is how the overall VLOOKUPs were in day-to-day our Excel thing. Again, you need to practice this thing to get it right. Even for me, it took a while, right? And normally don't try for numbers. Numbers are kind of calculated entities, so that's why VLOOKUP is not working for numbers. Could you try on your own? You have this Excel sheet, right? Do you want to try it right now? Hello, am I audible? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Could you try it on your own?
Yeah, yes.
VLOOKUP, yes, please. When you're done, do let me know. We'll start with function if. Can I get a headphone on this? No, it's not working. I don't know why it's not working. Are we done? Should we go ahead with the function if? Let me unhide these things. Let me basically do this thing. Okay, so let me go ahead with function if, and then you can try both the things. Okay, I know. Please do these, try it on your own so you can understand. Okay, let's see how if condition functions, right? Now let's make equal to, and I'll type if here. Now if checks whether a condition is met and returns a value true, and other value false if it's not met. So if I'll say bracket start, I'll choose September revenue if it's greater than August revenue. Simple enough. I'll say comma, if says you can say improved. So I want a message called improve. I'll say comma, otherwise if false, not improved. So what it means, I'm trying to make out if my income is improving or not month after month. Okay, so I'm trying to compare between September income and August income. Okay, I'll bracket complete. Are you with me? Hello, are you with me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then this is a simple function, but yes, this is the function we use most of the time. So it says not improved for this and this, it's not improved. So what I'll do, I'll just extend this thing to the other this thing also. So all these incomes are not improved, but these are, some of them are improved. Okay, and here, yeah, of course, so this is how you can basically conditionally jot down the inference with the help of if functions. There are various other ways also to do this if function in terms of how we can get it the correct value if present or not, and so on and so forth. So if you look at the function if help, let's say, let's do it again, equal to if, and there are if error, if na, if s, and all those things, these type of functions available within if. So I'll say again if, and if there's a logical test or a value I'm selecting here, let's say if equal to, this is the value target, if present. So if present is 1 comma, then say, okay, I need to give it in a quote, yes, or otherwise no. So what I'm doing, if the value is present, the if will return as a yes. Too many arguments. Okay, this one is extra, I believe, right? No. There's some challenge here. Equal to if RUE true, avail SE false. And this is complete. Again, same scenario. Let me with the K value. True. It works for numeric. For okay, so for character, these things I need to basically mention it as a character, or I need to use it as a word. For these things, say when I try with K2, it's working. K is my numeric value. Let me try if it works with C. It's working with C as well. So it's working with numeric here basically. Okay. So please try out this if combination. Let me take back to the browser and we'll try to search for all the options available for Excel if function. EXEL Excel if UNCTI1 function. Now support Microsoft. Microsoft support is the best because these are the basic manufacture of Excel, and you got all these function help as well. So VLOOKUP we did. So let's look at VLOOKUP. Is basically need to find out things in a table or a range by a row. Okay, and they have given a good video as well. You can have a look at this video, and I'll basically share this link as well. Okay, so you can have VLOOKUP, Excel lookup also. Okay, and then basically we can discuss this thing in a next time whenever you can practice on these various functions. There are so many functions available in Excel. Here they have just given few functions. Okay, and then there are formulas also. You can do a kind of conditional formatting with the formula. So when you say equal to, and you can reference to this thing, then you can calculate on them. We've seen this, right? So if you want to find a difference, it's a simple thing like deduction. So you do this one from the other, and so on and so forth. Okay. Yes. Any questions so far? Any question for me at this moment?
No.
Okay, please do practice, and I know you can get more questions for me, and we'll sort this out in our next session. Let me give a recording of these things. Recording of this session. You can have a look at it, and then we can practice on if condition, logical conditions, and all those things in our next session. Okay. Chalo then. Yes, okay, Prerna ma'am is not here, right? So let's go ahead with the feedback kind of scenario, right? Neha madam, could you please go ahead on the feedback for this session? What do you feel?
Yes, sir, it was good. Like a lot of new functions we have learned, but as we try more, we can ask more questions. And
Sure.
yeah, it was really good, interactive, and good information was there.
Thank you, Neha ma'am. Could you please, suggest anyone else to go ahead, please?
Vaishali?
Thanks, Neha. Today's session was really good. Learned a lot, and thank you, Neha, for explaining how to use the text split function. And it was really informative. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Could you please nominate somebody else, Vaishali ma'am?
Yeah.
Thanks, Vaishali. Today's session is really good. Thanks, Neha, for introducing test split function. It's really good, but I checked in my laptop, but it is not working for me. So probably it is available only in the Microsoft 365.
No, ma'am.
So,
It's available in I think anything above and beyond 2013. Which version of Excel do you have?
I'm using 2021, sir.
No, it should work. Even I'm using text split. No, it should work, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay, let me find out and I'll post it in a group. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. Other
Otherwise, you
than,
can
yeah.
I'll share a link of Microsoft and support, and there you can search, which all the version it's available for. Like, okay, let me take you there. This is the Microsoft support, right? This one is it. Come on. Yes. Now, if I search for a function here, text split, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Text split function in Microsoft support.
Sir, but
Oh man, yeah, you're right. It's only available for, okay. Let me try it over here. Means in my, in my Excel, because I'm using 2021. I don't like, all-time collected type of Excel sheet. So, let me insert a column and I'll say text split. Sorry, not that way. Equal to text splits, and here I'll start the brace text. So I want to split this text. Column delimiter was a space. Then we have row delimiter. We don't need these all, right? And that's all I believe. Is it to work this way? No,
no, sir, it's not working.
it's not working.
Yeah, I
Uh,
tried when
you need to give 2 spaces, then it takes that space.
Come in
exactly
again,
that
ma'am.
way.
Sorry.
You need to give like in between quotes, you need to give 2 spaces, then it takes it as space.
Okay, okay.
I did
One,
that way,
two.
then it was working.
Okay, comma. Oh, sorry. I forgot. No. I forgot to give comma after B3 as well. Comma. It can work with 2 parameters, right? Yeah, it's working.
Oh, I need to give 2 spaces.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
In
okay.
Office
Thank you.
365,
Thank you. I got
it
Actually, it will take 1 space also, but then it will separate 9 and PM as different columns. So then I did it like I put it 9 PM together and then two spaces. Then it.
Okay. Thank you, Nega. I will try now.
Sure. So it works
Thank
with the older version as well. Okay.
Okay. Okay, sir. I got it. Thank you, sir.
No
So
problem.
other
See,
than
we
the class,
learn.
it's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and we learn like this, and that's why we need to be in a what you can say team, and we should work together. Again, even I learn new things. There are new versions, new functionalities, and some of these are really useful. Okay, Chal, whom you want to nominate? Jai ma'am,
Yes, sir. Let me see the name
Rita
list.
ma'am,
Rita. Yeah, Rita Verma, sir.
please go ahead.
Sir,
Rita.
thank you. The class was interesting, and I'm like kind of beginner, so I think I'm gonna go and look more formula and stuff, how using. So I will practice that.
Sure, ma'am.
And I have a question
Go
for
ahead,
you,
please.
sir. For if now is class gonna be 2 times a week?
No,
So
ma'am.
is gonna
Just hold on for one more week or so. I'm having my exams, so I'm
oh,
trying to manage, and even there are some challenge with Prerna madam as well. So we are basically kind of managing something here. It'll be normally 3 times a week. Believe me. Just give me one or max to max, I think 2 more weeks, and we'll get this thing sorted out. Please don't
okay,
worry.
no problem. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks a lot, and you have a great weekend. Let's meet again and learn some more Excel. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.
Take
Thanks.
care.
Good night.
Good
Have a
night.
good weekend.
Thanks. Same to you, ma'am. Bye.